Well, what a great song to get everybody pumped up for a Tuesday morning, Tuesday trade day. S&P futures 68.62 just made a new high at 68.62.75. Tom, this
I've got a trade for everybody to kick it off for TNT. Uh, we'll post it. It's on Apple Computer. Apple Computer. Let's do the current price of Apple is 287. See if we can do it. Jonathan, what's a 287 and a half, 290 Apple Computer expiring January 2nd?
January 2nd. They have 5 whites for that expiration time.
Start at 90 to 95?
Yeah.
How much is that one?
290, 295. Buying the 290, selling the 295 is $2.07 as a midpoint right now.
I'm sorry, I was getting a call. What'd you say?
That 5 white is about $2.07 as a midpoint.
Do it. Sell it at 244. Good to cancel. Let's roll with Apple on that spread. That's for TNT, folks. It'll be posted in the TNT room. And Jonathan, why don't, since we're going to give everybody, we almost added a record number of people in our TNT with the BOGO, so we'll keep the BOGO going today. Buy 1 month, get 1 month free. But Jonathan, do me a favor. Post the ticket in there and showing what the ticket looks like that's going to be posted inside the TNT room. I think ought to patent this ticket. Probably the clearest ticket I've ever come up with. Pretty easy to update, isn't it, Jonathan?
Yeah, it is.
Say that again, Jonathan. Did I have some enthusiasm in that, yes, or we just, what do you think?
I'm a working man here,
because I
Tom.
said it, right?
I'm a working man here, Tom, trying to multitask.
Well, just focus on making these guys some money. They're paying the bills. Carol loves that ticket. Hey, Chuck, did you do the border I told you to do? Did you share it with Jonathan?
Yeah, we shared it we shared it between us, talked about how to get it done. And
okay.
Let's see. So Jonathan, we putting the border on that new one?
I'll do that right now.
The working man is going and working on it.
I'll see what they think, because it's one thing for us to come up with something we think is really cool, but it's another thing for the students to say, hey, that's great.
And of course, a reminder at this point that there is risk in trading. Past performance is not indicative of future results.
Yeah, let's go to a live market, Chuck, when we come back, okay?
Oh, there you go, Tom. Nice, pretty border for you.
Y'all like that border telling you it's a buy ticket? The green? Get your attention. It'll stick out for you. We use buy for green, or green for buy, and S for sell. You know me, I can't leave things alone. I got to work on it and make them good. All right, let's go to, if we can, to a live e-mini market. Let's talk about that. And I'm going to give you, I want to review the 10 tickers, Chuck, off the dashboard. Why don't you start with the dashboard with the 10 tickers, and we'll just go to a chart off the dashboard.
Chuck, you still have that from yesterday?
Chuck, if you need the tickers, I can give them to you. I got them right here.
Yeah, I think Chuck shared his screen for that yesterday. I just figured it'd be quicker.
Yeah. I'm in no rush.
I've got a dashboard for 10 tickers, Tom, but I do need to update it here. So
let me give you the 10 tickers. Apple, Amazon, MU, AGQ, Diamond, DIA, Gold, Gold, GLD, Google, NNE, NVIDIA, and PAAS. That's the 10 tickers. I think I gave you the right 10 tickers. Let me double check, make sure I didn't give you the previous weeks. Might have gave you the previous week. Let me check. No, I think that's the right 10. Is that the right 10, folks? I think it is. Okay, let's put Apple in there. I said buy Apple at 280.55. Y'all tell me, how much is that worth to you? You had it on Sunday night where my buy for the week was 280.55. I'd say that would pay for a lot of stuff, wouldn't you? Call out where they are when I call out the symbol, if you don't mind. Apple 280.55 is where I said buy it. Where's the current price?
286.45.
286.45. All righty. All righty. 286.45. Okay. Amazon, I had 235.55. Where's Amazon?
237.45.
37.45. MU, I had 245.
And it's
MU.
at 235.
All right. I had AGQ at 110. It went to 115 on Monday. AGQ right now, where's AGQ? Let me find it. Or are you going to get it for me, right? AGQ? 110. Okay. That's AGQ. Diamond, I had 478.55 for the diamond. $476, what I got, a little bit shy. Gold 390 shy. Google 330 shy. NNE, I had 35.55 for NNE. It's at 33. Keep your eye on that one. Looks like a mover. And then NVIDIA, I had 185.55 on NVIDIA. And I got NVIDIA at 182 right now. Okay. PAAS 47.11. Not a bad week so far for day 2. Now, let me give you some stocks that I want to look at and then breakout numbers, okay? Give this to you. I told you, y'all remember where I told you the pivot number was today? Does everybody have the pivot number for the day? You can type it in there, 66.45. So we're trading 66.47. How high have we been today? By the way, our Delta 10 paid big time, didn't it, from last night? You know, it's hard to get used to when I say something and I don't hear anything back. So I have to read what you type. Well, Mark, if the Chuck, you want to explain that? You got a pivot number? I thought I'm trying to understand what happened there.
Yeah, the list of numbers is really what you want to look at. That's 68.45. I had a typographical error on
Typo,
the small part.
Mark.
Yep.
I posted it in TNT. Always check TNT. That's the real deal.
Well, so Mark, if you look on that market rundown, there's a list of numbers on the right-hand side of the image right next to Tom's picture. That's the one you want to go off of.
Pete, you understand that during key times of the day, like reference bar times or approaching reference bar times, these numbers need to be verified after that controlling reference bar. And we're going into the Genesis period. So they can drop below or above. It doesn't really mean a lot during this time frame. Shirley says, I closed the Delta 10 early this morning based on what I typed in, made big money. Way to go, Shirley. Neil, I came back and followed up from last night, this morning, and said Delta 10's active. Go check the posting in the future, you'll see it. Okay, let's keep going here, okay? All right, let's look at Apple and draw a line at 284.55. Put Apple in there, draw a line at 84.55. Can you make that line? Well, that's okay. Does everybody see that line he drew in there, Chuck? Can you show what you drew?
Yeah, Tom, Jonathan drew in those lines. Looks like
Okay.
Are those reference bar lines, RB frame? And then you've got the orange line there, which is right at the beginning of the buy zone.
Okay. NVIDIA, I got 183.75. Put NVIDIA in there. NVIDIA is correcting right now. Well, everything's correcting because the S&P's at 40. Okay. 83.75 on NVIDIA is sort of the number I'm using right now on NVIDIA. Where's that line? Up at the top? Yeah, okay.
The orange line.
Yep. Amazon, I've got 236.55 on Amazon. Where's Amazon in that line? Okay, sort of about right there. AGQ. Here's a stock I bought at $5.95. I sold it this morning at $6.45. My trigger number was $6.40. I'm out of it right now, but it's not a stock you can trade options very effectively. Okay, with I can just tell you that. TQQ made us money. I told everybody in TN2 to buy it this morning, and TQQ, my new number is 55.41. Where's the TQQ at? Can somebody tell me?
Let's just open up our normal chart so we don't mess up our 10 tickers. 55 even.
That's where it is right now. Yeah. How high has it been, Jonathan?
55.76.
Yeah, because 41. Okay. Keep your eye on that 55.41 number. QQQ, I got it. 622. And where's the QQQ?
620.84, been as high as 623.75.
Wow. SPY got it 684.55. What do you got for the SPY?
Current price 681.78, been as high as 683.82.
Tesla, I got it 435. Where's it at now?
Tesla, below its reference bar, down at 426.
Okay. SPX, this is a good number on SPX. I'm gonna put a trade out on it if it gets above it. 68.56.
68.56 is the trigger you got. It's currently 68.28.
Okay. We said gold 390. Meta, I got 646.
Meta. That is trading at 641.75.
Okay. Google, I got at 320.55.
Google was on our 10 tickers. It's at 315.5.
Okay. So the market's pulling back right now. We're entering a key time. Now let's go, if we can we go live to the T-Buzz Talk and Trade and go through, pick it up about 5 o'clock this morning?
Sure.
Let's just go through what people get every morning, and pretty cool stuff.
Let's see here. December 2nd. Your first posting was kind of a snapshot to the market.
Overnight. That's overnight right there. That's where we were this morning. Notice the S&P's at 68.36 this morning. Right after this, I went over to my futures first and said, I'm buying the Delta 10 I did there and got about 40%, 30%, I guess, on that one. Okay. Just looking at everything right here. Notice gold. Go back. Y'all see gold at 53.80 right there? Everybody see that? Gold is 42.07 right now. So you got an early indication now. Okay. Apple at the time in the morning was 282.55. NVIDIA was 180 in the morning, 180. To sort of give you a list. I like looking at, look where the TQQ is. Those are ones I like to trade early like that. Now let's go to the next posting. This here is the Easter basket coming. Okay, let's go to the next posting in there. First, you got to think these are like horses. And the first horse I posted, you got to read it to me, John, if I can't see it. What was the first thing I posted?
Magic 5 for NVIDIA, 181.55.
Okay, I said buy NVIDIA above 181.55, and NVIDIA went to, I think 185 roughly this morning. I don't remember what the high was. Maybe Chuck can type it in there, the high, or tell us. What was the high? Here, I'll look up on mine, y'all. I got NVIDIA at 185.66. So I'd say that's a good play. Would y'all say that's a good play knowing that early in the morning? And you, by the way, you use Delta strategies with these too, but I'm just giving you if you want to buy the stock. What was the next thing I posted?
Apple, 283.55.
I said Apple at 283.55. That's updated from Sunday. Basically said I still like it's going higher. How high did Apple go?
287.
I say that's a good buy. All right, what else you got?
You said Amazon above 236.11.
How high did it go? Amazon. Let me check.
My roadmap tells me it went up to above 38, 238.
Y'all get the gist of how valuable the Easter basket is? I call it the Easter basket because I put this every day called the Magic 5. What else did I put in there?
Next one was TQQQ above 54.76.
64 on what? The QQQ?
Above 54.76 on the TQQQ.
And how high did it go?
A point higher than that.
Ain't bad.
That's not bad. And then you said SPY, 682.55. SPY's been above to 683.82, so about $1.30 above where you said your trigger was.
This is my TNT, my T-Buzz Talk and Trade. I do it every morning. Okay, after I did that, what else did I put out there?
You said pivot 66.45. Of course, that's a mistype. It should be 68.45.
68.45. That was my pivot, and we're below the pivot right now at 68.30. All right, let's keep shaking and baking. What else did I post?
Looks like an early bird look at the moneymaker.
Yeah, early bird look at the moneymaker there. That's where things would go if the S&P went up to 45, about 10 points higher than they were. Okay. All right. Now that's when I wrap up. I also put what Wall Street's saying today. That's the next thing that comes up. This is Wall Street.
Yep, right here.
That tells you all the key things on Wall Street that's going on. All right. I didn't do power today, Jody, because we're not past the 3 days, the 3-day algo. Okay. I always wait to get past the 3-day algo. All right. And that finishes up. Usually that's the last thing I post. Okay. Bob, I sometimes execute these before the market with stock, but after the market opens, if they're higher than that number, I will use Delta 50s or Delta 30s, something like that, to get into options on them. All right, so that sort of wraps up the Magic 5. You think that's worth $200 a month, getting all that stuff every day? Give me a yes if you think it is. That's why people tell me you got to share this with people. Oh, it's definitely worth it. Absolutely. And we do other things. Let's keep going. What else do we post that morning? In the morning. What came next?
So it's Tuesday trade day. How I'll start each month. Details at training trade today. How you start each month. And then there's the first reference bar posting from Chuck.
And let's just take the E-mini there. And what reference bar is that? Is that he's got posted 2?
Yep, that's.
And what was the high of 2?
We got the E-mini that says 68.36.
68.36. Okay. Right there, automatic, non-biased looks, and you already get long above that number. You can go through those stocks too at the same time when that's posted. What's next?
Looks like your T-Buzz TV video.
Yeah, I post my video of the day. What did I say at the video? Can we listen to it?
Yeah, we can do that.
Hey, good morning, folks. Boy, we're off to a great start. This morning, we were up 30% on our futures first education last night. So we're doing good there. TQQ setting up. If we get above that 45 to 50 area, up we go. I'm wearing this hat because this hat brought me such, everything went my way yesterday. Everything went my way. So I'm wearing it right now. We're going to share that love with you by finding the greatest trades that we can find today. Be there at Train and Trade. Don't be late. It's Tuesday. It's trade day. My pivot number. You got to know my pivot number. 68.45. 68.45. TQQ looks good. NVIDIA is breaking out. I had it in Magic 5 this morning in TNT. If it's above that 180, 155 area, up it goes. Apple's steady. We're going to have a great day. Be part of it. As I always say, see you on the flip side.
And that comes out 30, 40 minutes after I post all those numbers. Sometime between 7:30, I put that out. All right, what's next? Now, this is very important what Chuck puts in there. This is David. Chuck, explain what they're getting there in general terms.
Yeah, basically what we're doing here, Tom, is we're focusing in, first of all, on the part that you did with the video, kind of hitting the bullets of that. You'll see the numbers over here on the right-hand side in bold, those pivot number support, which I went with 68.02. That was, the low of the month. Big number. I think you talked about that being the midpoint between the November and October opens. So kind of projecting that before we get to the open of December. 68.78. I know you round that 68.80. That's the November open. We'll see how that plays out. You come down into the market review section. We're talking about the second day of the last month. Yesterday we talked about the first day of the last month, and just kind of highlighting some of those numbers you want to pay attention to. Below 68.02, 67.92. I wanted to highlight that. Highlighted it a little bit yesterday, and I think that's a big level course, you got to get below 68.02 to get there. And, you know, let's not forget about 67.25, the open of the quarter, which is your really big time support. Come down a little bit. We'll look at major events. Got ADP, non-farm employment tomorrow morning. I think that's going to be a big deal. Don't forget, ADP is not a government report. So we've been getting that all along. That's going to probably give us our best view of what the economy looks like going forward. So those ADP reports, generally a precursor to the employment situation report. We're missing the employment situation report. So ADP, very important tomorrow morning. And of course, we got the Genesis bar from the previous day, 68.50 the high, 68 is at 36.50 the low. And our opens that we're paying attention to, you'll notice in the bottom, we're looking at some of the earnings reports. CrowdStrike making waves today. And then we've got the Magic 5 at the bottom of that list. So basically, let's put together as much information as we can, give you a little info sheet to come into the day with.
That's pretty valuable. I print that off, folks, if you're in TNT, because that way it reminds you of things that were important. All right, let's go, if we can, to a live market again. Okay, you see the market has done a couple things coming into Genesis. Now, if you look, Genesis just started, okay, at 11:30, right? So we're going to form during this hour while we're doing some slides and stuff. But look over there at the closing low and the previous RB3. Closing low, give me the low there on RB3 yesterday.
It's a 678.74. This is on the SPY.
That's on the SPY.
Yeah, you want the E-mini?
Yeah, put the E-mini up there because I like to keep everything the same. Put E-mini because it's throwing me. Okay. All right. So this is the E-mini. I look at that. I want to know where RB3's low was yesterday. RB3's low. Where was RB3's low, Jonathan?
68.12, Tom.
All right. Write that number down, folks. If we go down and test 68.12 and bounce, then you get back above 35, 45, it goes back up. So what you're looking for when you see this kind of sell-off is where do you think support's going to step in? My best guess is between 68.02, yesterday's low, and the low of RB3, which is 68.12. So 68.02, 68.12 will sort of give me where support is in the current market. Does everybody understand how I did that? I took the previous day's reference bars and said, we've been in a downtrend since we made that high up there, correct? And the market came down and now you're going to start seeing buying step in, okay? Everybody got that? So you don't want to say, oh, it's going down too early. You got to get Genesis out of the way. If you're positive Genesis, then it should trade back up first to the top of RB2 this morning, which was 35. You get higher than that, then it trades back up to the low of RB3. Okay? That's how that works. It goes from one reference bar to another reference bar. You got a map if you learn how to read it. Okay, that's the live market for right now. I'll come back to it if y'all hang with me. But let's get to the slides now. We got some great education, a great time to do it too. So Jonathan, why don't we go to the past performance is not indicative of future results. In my opinion, the market's going to eventually go higher this month. And now we're in that zone of day number 2. So far in day number 2, the high that we went to today went right up to that 68.64 area. The low we went yesterday was 68.02, and we've got a support zone from 02 to 68.12, okay? That's my opinion. Train and Trade, welcome aboard. This is our free service that we do every day. Our goal here is try to give you a sampling of just how good DTI is in a live market. Okay? That's what we're trying to do. I think we're meeting the challenge. Now remember, any trades we do today will be tracked through T-Buzz Talk and Trade. And that's T-Buzz T&T. So we'll keep up with those regardless of what we said today. We'll keep up as we go through it. You saw the trade ticket. We'll make modifications with trade tickets and that. But you can sign up for it at dtitrader.com/TNT. But I'm going to run a BOGO today because I want everybody here to join that's not a member. And that means a BOGO means if you buy 1 month, you get 1 month free. Okay? John, could you read what Max said there?
Let's see here. Hey, Mac. Okay, we'll do.
All right. Jonathan put this together today, knocked it out of the park yesterday. Take it away, Jonathan.
Yeah, Tom wanted to cover getting started with the DTI algos. So let's go through this presentation here. Thanks, Tom, for the great topic. So the contents of this presentation, number one, I'm going to talk about understanding the concept of framing, which is the basics of these algos. Number two is talking about the first 3 days algo, the FTD algo. And number three, be talking about the week start. I'll post the slides in here in just a bit. Cheryl, thanks for asking. Number one, understanding the concept of framing the market. Very important. Very important to today's discussion. It's very important to Tom's method and what we use on a daily basis to trade the markets, daily, weekly, and monthly. So it all starts with establishing a high and low frame. So how do you do that is the question. Well, you can do that across many different time, frames. Let me make sure I got the right link in there. On that slide deck, looks like it's right. Okay. You do that across many different time frames, but today we're going to talk about two key time frames and a little bit of bigger picture than what we do on a daily basis intraday with the reference bars. We won't talk about reference bars today, but a little bit bigger picture focus. So framing the market requires establishing the following. You get a frame high and you need a frame low. And if you think about this in the context of trigger and ABO, establishing the frame high and low provides you the trigger and ABO for you already. That's the beauty of looking at it this way. The trigger price is where we get in, and the ABO price is where we're wrong. So the trigger could be above the frame high, and if it is, then our ABO would be below the frame low. That's for being bullish. Or if you were bearish, your trigger would be at or below the frame low. All right, and of course the other side would be the frame high. That'd be your ABO. So as long as you have a high and a low frame established, you know where you get in above the high for long, and you already know where you're wrong if it falls below that low. All right. So that's establishing a high and low frame. And again, you can do it across many different time frames. Today, we're going to talk about, first of all, the FTD algo, which is on a monthly time frame. FTD stands for first 3 days. It's the first 3 trading days of the month. So if you think about December, yesterday was trade day 1 of the month. It happened to be December 1st, but it doesn't always fall on, the actual calendar days, 1, 2, 3 of the month. Happens to be this time, but it's just the first 3 trade days of the month. So for this month of December 2025, that'll be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of this week. Works out real nice. Start of a new week, start of a new month on a Monday. What you're going to do is find the highest high from the first 3 days. And we're not done with that yet, but the highest high so far from the first 3 days was yesterday's high of 68.64.5. That tells a story on its own, we can say, for another day's discussion, but 68.64.5 is the high from the first 3 days so far. It happened yesterday on Monday. And the low from the first 3 days is 68.02. That also came from yesterday's market. So there's your frame so far. At the end of the day yesterday, we had an FTD algo so far at 64 down to 02. It remains the algo as we're about more than half of the way through today's 24-hour market. So what we do, the FTD algo, when it's formed after Wednesday, will have a high and low frame for the month of trading. All right. So if you're looking at a bullish strategy off the FTD algo, if you're bullish a stock, the question is, are you bullish a stock? Well, you get long, you want the stock to prove for the month that it wants to keep trending. So if you're not in a position yet, you can get long above the FTD algo high. You can trigger yourself into a position above that. And you already know where you're wrong. If you're, getting to, again, if you're getting to a bullish trade, you trigger above the high, you're wrong below the ABO low. So on a reversal below the low from the first 3 days, you would be wrong. Of course, you'd be out, you'd lose money, and you wait for the next month. Bearish is the opposite. And if it gets below the FTD low, you're triggering yourself short. And of course, you're wrong above the FTD high. For the bearish months, I would caution you around mid-month. Unless they're in a clear bearish trend long term, they're just, bleed money, if you will. Stocks that fall below their FTD low early month tend to find a bottom around mid-month. So keep that in mind. That's a common pattern on bearish months. So that's the FTD long and FTD short. And that's a very important concept we use at DTI. I mentioned yesterday, it's not 100%. It doesn't always work, but it is remarkably well how you can find stocks that are bullish, setting up bullish for the month, and they continue bullish for the month. And then sometimes you have those same bullish stocks that have been setting up on the FTD algo long month after month. Then all of a sudden we get to a new month and they don't set up long, and the FTD algo keeps you out of those stocks for the month. Does a great job keeping you out of stocks as well. That's the FTD algo. All right, number 3, we can narrow our time frame down to the week start. What we mean by week start? Well, the week start is usually a Monday, like it is this week. Sometimes Monday falls on a holiday. And if it does, we would count Tuesday as the first trade day of the week. Very similar to the monthly process, we're going to find the high from the first day of the week, usually Monday, and we're going to find the low from the first day of the week. That gives us a high-low frame we can use for that week of trading. So, once again, for the week, not for the month, but for the week, we'll use this to find stocks that are trending for the week, bullish above the week start high, or stocks that are bearish for the week, trending bearish for the week, below the week start low. And of course, in either case, the other side of the frame is going to be our ABO level. We actually use this process for the week start for the Tuesday Power Play service. Now, there's no trades this week for Tuesday Power Play since we're in the first 3 days of the month, kind of flushing things around. You can see what the market's doing today. But next week we should be fired off on all cylinders for the Tuesday Power Play. But we use it. It's a great process. Learned an incredible amount of knowledge about the markets from what Tom and Jeff set up for the Tuesday Power Play service, all based on the week start algo. Hey, Charlie, I'll post the slides for you since you just tuned in. Thanks for being here. So today we covered the concept of framing to set up your understanding of what a frame is, so we could then discuss the monthly framing process with the FTD algo, and then narrow our time frame down to the weekly framing process with the week start. And a day, upcoming, we'll talk about intraday, which is all about reference bars, but I figured we'd best serve to save that for another day. Any questions? Mag, that's a great question. We'll save that for our reference bar discussion. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. Mac's question was, can you repeat your insight about the market moving back and forth between reference bars? Yeah, we'll probably best save that for another day.
Yeah, and I'll just give you this, Mac, if you got the roadmap. The two reference bars that you want to concern yourself with is the previous reference bar and the current reference bar. That's the frame. And that sort of should keep you in the ballpark if you use those two bars. And all right, let's get into those. A lot of people are demanding they want that BOGO, so let's put it up there and let them join. We'll take a little break after this. But T-Buzz Talk and Trade is something that I developed, and along with Jonathan and with Chuck, we have made it something special. This is the BOGO. You buy 1 month, you get 1 month free. It's $200 a month. And what I need to know is the only service I talk directly to you, starting about 5 in the morning, going as late about 10 o'clock at night some nights. When I see one of these stocks moving out of their home base, I'll let you know the night before. So the Magic 5 is the Easter basket. It always got some good chewable candy inside the Magic 5. The Magic 5 numbers, we put it out there. Also give the daily pivot. Also news and any insights I might see it, okay? I trade the TQQ, I would say 4 out of 5 days in there. And if you don't have enough money to trade the TQQ, you can always use the Delta strategy that we teach that allows you to use options with the TQQ. Numbers work the same. You just got to, put some money on options. This is, to me, the research lab. Chuck goes through there every day and posts these reference bar numbers. How valuable are them later on in the day? Remember what I did? I went and looked and said, hey, 68.12 is support. The market right now is 68.30. It held, and now the market is trying to recover. We'll see if it can recover. But using these numbers keeps me from having to leave the market and go to those sheets. Okay. When it's time to trade during the cash markets, we have a unique template. It's very easy to read. We just modified that. We need to update the slide, but we modified it to show green is what you buy, red is you sell. Very simple. Now, if you're already using Telegram, you skip right to the onboarding form, which gives you access to our private talk and trade. Now, here's what I would advise you. Get signed up where we can add you to the T-Buzz Talk and Trade. I will probably come back after 2:30, 3 o'clock, see if there's a trade we can set up for tomorrow. The BOGO, there it is. There's the link for the BOGO. Who is going to take me up on the BOGO? Say I'm doing the BOGO where I can count how many people are coming in, where I know when to post some information this afternoon. Lisa, Bob, okay. I got 2. Joseph's 3. Scott's 4. Kevin's 5. Kevin's smart. He's so smart. He said, I'm adding to my existing subscription. Why not save a little money with a BOGO? Smart guy. Drives Adam crazy, but that's okay. He's been crazy for 20 years. Yeah, I think this BOGO is a good way to get you in there. You'll never leave once you come in. Gwendolyn, did you take 6 the other day? You dog, you. Way to go, Gwendolyn. That's smart thinking. That just cuts your cost down to 50%. All right, here's what I want to do. I want to wait to Genesis Forms and come back and give you an analysis. We got about, John, why don't we wait 15 minutes? Why don't you put a link out there or a timer out there where we can come back in 15 minutes and do a final review before we go to our live trading this afternoon. Yeah, if you want the live trading link, I have Jonathan posted. We do live trading Tuesday through Friday. Thank you, Jonathan. Hey, on a 0 to 10 basis, how do you rate Jonathan's slides and what he taught you today in education? Give me a 0 to 10 review. You got an 11, Peg. Man, you took his average above 10. There's a 12. Okay. Goodness, 100. Jonathan, you see that? You ought to feel good about that. 15 by Bob. Anybody posts 15 gets a call back from Jonathan quicker. Hey, Rule, long time no see. All right, I'll see everybody in about 15 minutes. Thank you, and we'll come back and analyze this market, see if there's any more opportunities this morning. Yeah, that live trading, it's come pretty popular. We do a lot of live trading between 1:30 and 3 Tuesday through Friday.